Hey there guys, my name is Maria and I am your Brazilian teacher for the day. And today we are going to speak about word classification in Portuguese. This video will be specifically about nouns in Portuguese. This subject is very large, but it's very interesting, I promise. So first, let's understand what is word classification. Word classification is going to be the classification of groups of words and how they perform a function inside the Portuguese language. We have two types of words in English, the variable and the non-variable. This might seem a little bit confusing if you are a native speaking English, because we don't have those variations in English, but in Portuguese they are very common. So the variable words are words that can vary in number, so plural and singular. They can vary in gender because Portuguese is a binary language like other Latin languages, and English is not. So we can classify them like they will vary in feminine and masculine, do you see? And we also can classify them on degree. When we speak about degree, is like when we are speaking about an amount of something. And the ones that are non-variable, as the name says, they do not vary in those ways, okay? So let's understand better how nouns are going to work in the Portuguese language. Nouns are words used to give names to stuff, you see? It's to designate names of beings and basically anything. So let's see a few examples, like o Brasil é país muito bonito. That means that Brazil is a very beautiful place. Or este é cachorro. This is a dog. Dog is a noun. Brazil is a noun. O guarda-chuva de Ana quebrou. Anna's umbrella, it's broken. Guarda-chuva, umbrella, I forgot to put my accent. Okay, so umbrella is also a noun, both in Portuguese and English. And in Portuguese, we have 9 types of nouns, and we're going to talk about all of them today. So the first type of nouns that we have are the common nouns. They are words used to designate beings in a generic form, you see? And we always write those with lowercase letters. A few examples. A América é continente e não país. That means that America is a continent, okay guys? America is a continent and not a country. So when we speak the words continente, continent, and país, country, we are speaking about common words, okay? It would be more specific if instead of continent we said America, and instead of saying country we said Brazil. Another example, ela é boa pessoa. She is a good person. Person is a common noun, pessoa. Then we have the proper nouns. Those are used to designate specific beings, and we always write those in capital letters. Brazil is considered a proper noun because we are being specific about one country out of many other countries, and we use the capital letter to write it. Another example, Ana e João gostam do outro. Ana and João like each other. So when we say Ana and João, that are names in Portuguese, we are being specific about a class that is people in general, you see? And then we have the simple nouns. The simple nouns are words which have one radical. So Maria, what is a radical? A radical is the basic element of a word, okay? So a few examples. Casa, it's house. Flor, flower. Cadeira, chair. Then we have the compound nouns that have more than one radical in their formation, you see? So instead of having just one, they have more than one. radical is the basic element of a word. A few examples of compound words in Portuguese are guarda-chuva, that is umbrella, guarda-roupa, that is wardrobe, and girassol, that is sunflower. Sunflower is also a compound word in English, differently from umbrella and wardrobe. Then we have the primitive nouns. They don't derivate from any other word in the language. It's kind of as they are like the mother words, you know? A few examples, like the word pedra, that is rock, and flor, that is flower. And then we actually have the derivative nouns because they derivate from other words in the Portuguese language. Be careful with those concepts because it's not like when we borrow a word from another language, like the word toilet, right? Toilet comes from French, if I'm not mistaken. In Brazil, we also have a similar word, but they derivate from words of other languages. The derivative pronouns here in Portuguese, they derivate from other words in Portuguese. So, do you remember pedra, that is rock? We have the word pedreiro, that is going to be the constructor because they use the rock, you see? We used to have flor, that is flower, and we have florista, that is florist. Okay, makes sense, the connection? After that, we have the concrete nouns. The concrete nouns designate beings with its own existence and we can touch them, like this is a pen and I can actually touch it. That's why it's concrete, you know? So a few examples: mesa, that is a table, and computador, that is a computer. We can actually touch them in the real world. Now, otherwise, the abstract nouns are words to designate feelings, qualities, and they are abstract. We cannot touch them, you see? I'm going to give you guys a few examples now. Like amor, that is love. It's a feeling. We cannot touch love. Or vaidade, that is vanity. Is a quality, but we cannot touch it, you see? Bondade, kindness. We can offer that, we can feel it like in our feelings, but we cannot actually feel it like with our hands. And finally, last but not least, we have the collective nouns. The collective nouns are used to designate a group of the same species. So like cardume, that's a shawl. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it this correctly. Or enxame, that is a swarm. Or alcateia, that is a pack. Okay, so for today, this is it, class. We're going to have a part 2 of this video where we're going to speak a little bit more about verbs and adjectives. So I hope to see you guys there. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and good to have you.